Well, hello again out there in Friendship Village. This is your voice of Friendship Village, coming at you with another great show, we believe. Most interesting guest. We know for sure that'll be found of you. So thank you for tuning in today. And we want to start our program today by mentioning our sponsor. And each week we try and get somebody a little bit different as our sponsor. Today, this program is being sponsored by the various craft programs here on campus. There's one in every major building that we have, and it's a chance for the ladies mainly. Sometimes I guess men are involved in craft projects, but for the ladies mainly to get involved and to be creative, and a lot of times what they do is produce a nice gift for Christmas or a birthday or whatever. This afternoon they're working on greeting cards made out of napkins. Can you believe that? How would you do that? I guess I should go and find out. Yeah, but anyway, so now with a joke. This man bought himself a snowmobile for the first time. So he was out in the woods, tooling around on his snowmobile, just enjoying the freedom and the cool air in his face and having a grand time. But he soon discovered that he didn't exactly know where he was going. He got lost. He had a few spots picked out to help him locate his return trip, but he couldn't find them. He was lost. So he came down this trail, and there was a house at the end of the trail, and on the left-hand side of the house there was a path that went a little further. On the right-hand side there was another path. So he thought, well, maybe whoever lives in this house will get me out of my mess. So he went up to the door and talked to a man and said, "Sir, could you tell me where this path goes that's on your right hand here?" And the guy said, "No, I don't really have any idea." And so he said, well, how about the one on the other side of your house? Surely you must know where that one goes. Well, no, that's about the same. No, can't say as do. And so the man, he was a little disgruntled and a little upset, and so he said to himself under his breath, he walked back to the snowmobile and he was saying, "How could anybody live out here and not know where the trails go? What kind of a dumpkin is he?" And the man heard, and he got a little irate. He stood up and he said, "Hey, sir, maybe I don't know as much as you know, but at least I know this one thing. I ain't lost." Okay.
This kind of goes along with the joke I have now.
Oh, really? Go
My grandmother started walking 5 miles a day when she was 60. Now she's 97, and we don't know where she is. Is she lost too?
Oh, my. Yeah.
So that gets us off to a good start.
Okay. And we have a most interesting guest. Mary, introduce her.
Our guest today is JoAnn Schons, and she lives over at the Terrace. And she is just a busy little beaver all the time. And we thought she might be really interesting to talk to today. Find out a little bit about her background and why she's so busy all the time. So, JoAnn, where were you born and raised to start out with?
In the Jessup area.
Okay.
And went to, kindergarten, Jessup Public School. We lived on a farm, and there was a one-room schoolhouse on our farm, and the teacher actually roomed at our home.
Mm-hmm.
And so kindergarten in Jessup, first grade, then went to this country schoolhouse, and then I believe it closed, and St. Athanasius in Jessup had built their Catholic school, went there to second grade, and then the parish we belonged to was actually Raymond. We lived closer to Raymond, and they built us. So I finished my grade school in Raymond, and then on to Don Bosco High School.
Did you come from a big family?
I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters.
Yeah, that's a big family.
Yeah.
But my mother and dad, that's big families. A lot of their siblings had 10, 12 kids, and so I have tons of cousins, and we had a lot of fun growing up.
Your family celebrations were big.
Yes, yes,
That sounds good.
yes,
So then you graduated from Don Bosco?
yes.
All right. And where did you go after that?
Well, then my parents were of the, what do I want to say?
Persuasion.
Yeah, that if you plan on ever getting married, you don't need to go to college. So all my brothers got to go to college. None of us girls went to college.
Yeah, I've heard that idiom before.
Okay, so
You were
but-
to be housewives.
yes,
Yes.
yes. In those days,
Yeah.
housewives didn't really work.
That's right.
And
So none of the girls got to go to college?
No.
Well, what did your 2 sisters, how did they end up? Did they have jobs later in their lives? Or?
well, my youngest sister worked at John Deere. She wasn't dating anyone or anything at the time, so she worked there. Middle sister, I can't even think where she
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
would have started out. So
Okay.
I was probably married and everything before she would have even graduated from high school. And
So were you married at a young age?
yes, I guess you would say that, but then that was normal too.
Yeah.
I was just shy of 20.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, okay.
we got married in August, and my husband was in the Army Reserve. He had done all his 6 months, whatever, all that. But his unit then got activated,
Oh.
that Berlin crisis
Okay.
in 62, 61. And their unit had to go to Hereford, Arizona. If you have any idea where Hereford, Arizona, it's way down at the southern tip of Arizona.
Okay.
So off he went, and then I moved back in with my parents temporarily, not knowing what to expect, where we would live. And he found an apartment, and he came home at Christmas, and then I went back with him.
Okay.
And we lived in Arizona exactly to the day of our anniversary. They got discharged, and we back to Iowa. And it was so good to see green again, because living in the desert, which, both of us were raised in nice lush Iowa, and to go to the desert area was quite a change. But
So was he still in the military when you came back, or did he get out?
well, he still was in reserve yet.
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer, but yeah.
Right.
But that was our last reactivation.
Right.
So
So you came back here and found a place
And-
to live, and
yes, and he had already been working at John Deere and got that job back. So yeah.
Good.
So that was good. Yeah.
so how many years did he work there?
At John Deere, he retired. Well, he started right out of high school, and he retired at age 53, but then went back, like so many did or do, on contract for about 9 years.
Okay.
Oh.
So probably 40 some years.
Yeah, he
total.
had quite a few years in.
Yes. But he was a hard worker. He also farmed part-time in that. Just
Did you live on a farm at the time?
no.
No.
No,
Okay.
we had we bought some farm acres, did not move into that home. When we had 4 children, and we were going to naturally have them go to St. Ed's school. We lived on Julie Court, which is a cul-de-sac practically right by St. Ed's. And we determined it'd be easier for him to make a trip to the farm after work and do what he needed to do, rather than me maybe running in and out how many times into town if we lived in the country with the kids' activities and stuff.
Okay.
So that's why we chose to stay living in town.
Okay,
So,
good. And you had 4 children,
yes.
boys, girls.
3 girls and then a boy.
Right.
Yes.
And we've met your son.
Yes.
Yeah, we've met your son.
Yes. Yeah.
He was with the military. He came on the Veterans Day
Yes.
and gave a nice speech.
Yes.
And then he was our partner on trivia night.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
yes.
all played trivia night, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he enjoyed
Um,
that.
And then your girls, he lives around here,
He
right?
lives in Cedar Falls, fortunately for me. That's
Yes.
really nice.
Yeah.
Our youngest daughter lives in Des Moines. They have a business, Nostalgic Enterprises in Des Moines.
Mm-hmm.
And she had worked, she just retired. She worked also for the Children's Variety. It's a nonprofit in Des
Okay.
Moines, quite a big. So the second daughter, Shelley, lives in Johnstown, Ohio. She's a CFO with some company. That's terrible. And then Tamara, our oldest, lives in Kansas City, and she's in administration in the hospital.
And how many
So,
grandchildren do you have?
We have 8 grandchildren
Okay,
and 5 great-grands.
great.
So,
Really?
yes. So, yep.
And they come when they can.
Well, and yeah, busy lives yet when
Yes.
mom and dad and stuff are working. It's
Right.
difficult to get off. So.
And you haven't been in Friendship Village too long, have you?
No, just came when Village Terrace opened up.
Right,
So,
right.
which will be 2 years this September.
And you
So
plan
you
to-
can remember those times when it was very quiet because nobody else was much there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you plan to move in with your husband, but he suddenly
Yes.
passed away.
Yes, definitely. His birthday is today.
Okay.
Today.
Today.
How nice. How nice.
So-
We'll remember that.
So we had gotten back from Arizona. We went there usually for a while in the winters, and got back in the first week of March. And the kids, our 4 children and their spouses, all gathered in Des Moines to celebrate his birthday. And it was just all of us just have such a good. He had the best time. Little did we know then that would be his last birthday.
Right.
Oh.
So then he died June 5 already, so
Okay.
it wasn't very long from March 10 to June 5 that,
Mm-hmm.
So it was just yeah.
Had you bought into here yet?
We did right away when they first announced they were
Mhm.
going to build. We had come
Oh.
over, yes, and put
Mhm.
our name and down deposit and
Mhm,
everything.
good.
So, yeah. So he picked out where I'm living,
Okay.
the apartment and
Yeah.
everything. But we all feel bad that he didn't get a chance to at least
Enjoy it.
for a bit.
Little bit,
Yeah.
right.
So.
But
Did he
went
get a
ahead-
chance to maybe see it as it was?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Not what we expected.
And you moved in
September
September.
of 21.
Mhm.
It could be 2 years this
Yeah, because there were a lot of people moving in by then.
Well, that was about the August 30th.
Right.
Yeah, about the first. So,
Now,
but there were a dozen.
Regals and
Yes.
Reicherts and some of them have
Yes.
moved in.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
So you're all settled in, and then gradually more people moved in, and you knew a lot of the people.
Yes, that was nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that made it easier.
Right. What do you like especially about living there?
That's difficult because I want my husband there with me, but they offer a lot. I like you said, I like keeping busy, and there's
Mhm.
certainly enough activity to do
Yeah.
that. And it's a well-rounded. I like the volunteering that they let us do, take us to
Right.
food bank, etc., places like that.
And the friendship walks.
Yes, yes, yes. And our exercise morning class,
Mhm.
I like that because I always was a walker and
Right.
I like to. So
There's many activities to take part in.
Yeah.
yes,
You can be, the way I say it is you can be about as busy as you want to be.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
Or not.
yes.
Or not.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Right.
And I can't imagine not
Right,
being
right.
busy. That just would drive me silly.
When the opportunity comes for something to do, you're right there helping with it.
Yeah.
Yes, and you help a lot of people too.
Enjoy
I know that.
Mm.
And like again, Phil and I agree too, and you probably do. Our families are very happy that we are here,
Taking care.
living here,
Yes,
settled in, happy, busy.
exactly.
You know, they don't have to worry about us.
Right.
Like if we were in our own homes, single, and have to worry about snow removal
Yes.
and getting out to get our groceries and
New furnace, say, new roof. I mean, all the
Yes.
keeping up of a place would be a lot
absolutely
for me.
water heater. I always had
Yeah.
trouble with the water heater.
My husband kind of knew how to fix everything. In fact, he was dubbed the tractor doctor.
Okay.
From his
Oh.
job. But he'd go overseas and help with a problem that some company would
You
have.
go overseas?
Yes.
Oh.
And, yep, fix some problems.
He'd go over for John Deere.
Yes.
They would send him.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
So,
That's very knowledgeable.
yeah, so. And our son's kind of following in his footsteps now. He never dreamt he'd ever be a John Deere employee because he had gone to the Air Force Academy, graduated from there, and was, of course, an airline pilot. Well, first a pilot for the Air Force, and then when he retired after 20 years, was a pilot for which was Northwestern then. Now it's out of Minneapolis. What is it called? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So, and then after 9/11, he got laid off. He was on the lower end of employees, naturally, of hires. So then he applied and got the job at John Deere.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, an engineer there now. He has about 3 different engineering degrees. He's very much more intelligent than myself. So,
We say good for that.
yes.
And then I'm sure all your daughters got to go to college.
Yes.
So
In our household, it was after high school, it's college automatically.
that's what we said too. 'Cause
So
we said
they
you
were-
aren't going to find any kind of good paying job unless you have an education to put into it.
Yes.
And my husband especially, instilled that in the kids. You got to go to school, got to go to college,
Yep.
and get a degree, and
Yes. Yes.
which they all did. They
Yes.
were all willing to do it.
Yeah, it was just inbred in them. It was no
Mhm.
different than going to grade school or high school.
Right.
And two of the girls ended up being CPAs even.
Mhm.
So
They've done well.
they liked learning,
Yes.
and so
And now, do you have grandchildren that are in college yet?
no, grandchildren are all out of
All done
yes,
and have their own lives.
yes. So yeah,
Raising their own families.
Right.
Yeah. Because you have great
yes,
grandchildren.
yes. Great grands are a 6-year-old, twin 4-year-olds, a 2-year-old, and one will be 1 in July.
Okay,
So-
they're little.
Yes,
Hmm.
fun ages.
Yeah, mine are both less than 2 years old. They're
Okay.
about 20 months old. I have 2 boys, 2 great grandsons.
Okay.
One here and one in New York.
Ah,
So, and another one coming in May or the end of April,
okay.
whenever the baby decides to come.
Yes,
It's
yes.
another boy.
Oh.
So I'll have 3 great grandsons.
Ah.
But my grandchildren are all spread out, so they're all over the United States.
Yeah,
So
that happens, doesn't it?
yes. Now, do you have like FaceTime and computer and all that stuff?
Yes, yes,
So you can
Yeah.
connect with them on that too.
exactly.
Yeah. I enjoy that.
I just, before today's recording, I was on Facebook, or not Facebook, it's called WhatsApp.
Oh, yeah.
So Fridays from 1 to 3, I get on there with my 3 brothers. So we all, you can see a picture of all 4
Oh,
of us
nice.
get to talk.
Where are they living?
Well, Boston, near Boston, and La Crosse, Wisconsin,
Oh.
and Iowa City.
Okay,
So,
so too close.
Well, you have a lot of catching up to do each time when you're visiting then.
well, kind of, yeah. Or we quickly make up something.
Are they older or younger?
They're all younger. I'm the
You're the oldest. Okay, like me, I'm the oldest in our family too.
Yeah.
I have one sister left, and we FaceTime at least once a week.
Uh-huh.
And I FaceTime my daughter in New York. I don't FaceTime my son. He just doesn't do that. I can FaceTime him. I say, get on there. I want to see your face. He'd rather talk on the telephone.
Oh,
Isn't it amazing what we can't do, though?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean,
I can FaceTime my grandchildren anytime I
Yes.
want.
you can be overseas and do that to
Yeah.
someone here. It's just
Yeah,
unreal.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have ever
Just a lot of fun. I love that invention.
Yes.
It's worked well for us.
Right, right.
So what's coming in your futures? Your future? Anything?
I
You'd like
don't
to share?
have any big
Okay.
plans right now. Our biggest plan was probably last fall when we went, as you know, to Israel.
Israel,
And
yeah.
did the journey, the pilgrimage, and all 4 children went. So, and 1 spouse. So there were 6 of us in our family, and there was like about 20 on this pilgrimage, which was a nice amount of people, you know.
Okay.
So,
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, it
She
was-
needs to give a speech in the cove like Mr. Jefferson did the other
Yeah.
day.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
Yeah, on his pilgrimage. That was very well presented.
Oh.
Yeah, we'd love to hear about that.
So we're trying to think, maybe is there some other place, you know, that we want to.
Did you and your husband travel?
Well, he traveled so much with John Deere that, like, I went to Paris once with my daughter-in-law when our son was working over there, and he didn't care to go because traveling to him was not
Yeah.
no
There's
adventure.
There's no fun. Yeah.
Right. So
We might say, "Oh, I've been to Paris.
Yeah.
You go ahead."
yes,
Yeah.
and I could have went anywhere. He was so okay with all of that. And
Okay.
we did the Alaskan cruise about 2 years before he passed, so that was good. Glad we did that.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
And once in a great while, I would travel with him when he would go for deers.
Sure.
Just
So what are some of the jobs that you've had over your career, over your life?
my jobs, I didn't go, well, I worked at St. Francis Hospital first as a teenager, but then after I got married and had a family, I did not go back to work until our son was in like maybe 8th grade, so I was able to stay at home, be a home mother, which was something we cherished, and my husband did too, felt that was important.
Right.
So, and I always wanted to be there when the kids got home from school.
I did too. Yeah.
That's when they're ready to express and tell you about their day. If you wait till later, it's kind of forgotten. So that was good. So then when I did go to work, I took a bookkeeping job at Gene Enderlin's at Crossroads. He had the Britchery and J.H. McAllister or something. He had 2 stores there, one in College Square and one in Marshalltown. And all the bookwork came to the Waterloo office. So I did that. And then when he sold that, then I went to St. Edward's School as bookkeeper.
And you just shared a very interesting
No.
experience with us before we did the podcast. So we're going to let you tell about that so our audience can get a idea of what happened to you.
Okay, in the summer when we worked, we could pick our hours and come and go somewhat. And when the new supplies would come in for the teachers, I would get those situated, what went to what room, and I would call our daycare center, get the older kids to come over, and they loved that. They got out of daycare and could take things to the classrooms for me because it was a lot of transporting. So they finished that day, and I said, okay, I'm going to go get you an ice cream treat. So I had them all wait there by my office, and I went to get the ice cream treat, which is in a walk-in freezer, and the door went shut and locked. And that is totally against OSHA and everything. I mean, that should never have happened, but it did. So
Maybe this doesn't need to be said, but you were in the freezer
Oh, yes.
when the door shut.
Yes,
locked.
and that
Okay.
was a little scary, and no phone. Luckily, there was a light in there, and that was on, so I wasn't in the dark, but figured that I was done for, that I would be freezing to death, and I think, how does that feel? What's this going to feel like? And I figured if I was to survive, I had to do what I could do to survive. So I was maybe doing jumping jacks, I was whatever, of course praying, but exercises to keep myself warm, to keep my body going. Mm-hmm. And I was about ready. At one time, I was pounding on the door, my arms, I got so tired, I was hollering for help. I laid on my back and was kicking the door to my legs, and then they get tired, then I'd alternate and do that. I was ready to unload boxes that were in the freezer holding say frozen fruits, vegetables, whatever. And I was going to wrap that cardboard around me to keep me warm also, because I was really getting wore out by doing the other. But anyway, luckily I had an appointment with a parent that morning, and that parent came to the office, and lo and behold, a teacher had come to the office, and when I wasn't there, the parents said she had an appointment with me. The teacher said, well, I'll go look for her. So what does the teacher do? She goes up to the top floor and goes all around looking for me, then the next floor, and then finally the basement where the lock-in freezer was, and then she heard me and got me out, opened the door. So that was my guardian angel.
What was the time from the door shut till you got rescued?
I have no idea. I didn't have, even a watch on.
An hour?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Gosh.
Did you suffer any after effects from it?
No, they had me go home and I just
Got
rested.
warm.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Turned on a heating pad.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, it was the summertime too.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes.
right.
So,
Oh, wow.
yep. So that was my one near-death experience. My second one came 5 years later. I was out at our acreage. My husband was there working in I call it a shed, his shop, which was about, I don't know, a couple hundred feet from the farmhouse. I was washing the siding off on the farmhouse. Why? Just because it was dirty. I was there, it needed it, and we rented it out. But I fell off of a ladder.
Wow.
And I don't know how. I don't remember the fall at all. I remember probably I was unconscious for some time, laid there, and when I realized I'm on the ground and all the fluid, the doctor said, came out of that surrounds your brain. I lost all that fluid. I wanted to holler to my husband, and I opened, nothing, my voice was gone.
Wow.
Nothing would come out. So I remember thinking, well, I guess I'll just lay here till he finds me. And I guess that's what I think I went back out, unconscious again. And finally when he did, and that was only because a neighbor came in the yard and saw the ladder was down and went and talked to my husband. He said, where's JoAnn? And my husband said what I was doing, and he said, well, the ladder's on the ground. And so they came up, and my husband just immediately, they took me and put me into, he didn't want to call, he knew he should call for an ambulance because you shouldn't, in case I would have had a broken neck or something, you don't move but he couldn't wait, and I understand that. Put me in the back, we had a Tahoe, and he put me in the back of that and raced up to the hospital with me that way. On the way to the hospital, I remember I was just like freezing. I think I was going into shock, yes. And just whatever he had, a shirt or something, and threw it back over me and stuff. But I was in the hospital 2-3 weeks and everything, and came out with no permanent damage.
Okay.
Boy,
Very
were you
blessed.
lucky.
Yes.
You were so lucky.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, what a blessing.
Yes.
Phew.
Because they expected I would be at the home there on 4th Street, So
Yeah.
I was very lucky.
So you landed on grass.
No.
You landed on cement?
And
wow.
gravel, yeah. So, yep. So.
And that far on a ladder could be
Yeah, it was
quite bad.
How tall?
It was a good, at least 10-foot ladder, and I was up at the top, more or less, yeah.
Wow.
So now you don't do any ladders, right?
No, I'm not afraid to do a ladder, which is also, isn't it unreal? But our rule, of course, since then in our family is you always have someone else there when you get on a ladder.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
And we kind of say that around here with people our age, we shouldn't be climbing on ladders or step stools even.
True.
Leave that for somebody else.
Yeah, but I have no fear of it, which is, I'm thankful for that.
You
that
bet. I guess so.
Don't.
I don't like that when they say, well, considering your age, da, 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 da.
I've heard it enough times that I just do it anyway.
Yeah, I think that's what most of us do. So, yep.
Well,
Well, those are two very hair-raising experiences, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yes.
I don't think we can compare to that
No. I
too
can't.
well, but
So I don't know what my purpose might all be, but apparently God has a purpose for
You're
me.
still,
Right.
You're still living out your purpose.
right, right.
Okay.
So,
Things like that happen, and we have no reason to figure out why.
Right.
Rhyme or reason.
Maybe it's in God's plans for you to win the trivia contest coming up.
oh,
Later this
that would be a miracle.
No matter what team you're on.
Yeah, no matter what team you're on. And we've run out of time.
I bet we have.
Golly. Oh, thank you much
Thank
for
you.
coming and sharing.
Thank
Gosh.
you.
So let's close with this. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet again. Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
And the Lord has been keeping you. That's for sure, JoAnn.